Oh man, I think I'm still kind of late with. I mean, I still catch an artist who's like new and all within a year they're made or like I promoted. But then I don't know, like this Bruno Mars guy's. He sounds okay. He's like a really nice musician. He looks like the younger version of Michael Jackson, like on his Thriller album, Thriller to like that album. Like wow. Is that Michael Jackson? It's Bruno Mars. Whoa, this music is okay. I thought Justin Bieber made that song, Nothing on You. It sounded like, this guy sounds like Michael Jackson as well. Got some good music. Very nice. It's alright. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's stated I should be reading this book every fucking day, and I don't know why. I think I have a short attention span, and I should... Ouch. Why did I do that? But yeah, I deserve that. I hit myself in the right side of my head, which is the left on the video. Parallax view. That shit kinda hurts. Motherfucker, I'm an idiot. I think I wanted to read an excerpt from the book. Excuse me. It's a weird soap opera form of a scientific, political, no, philosophical book. Sorry, not political, philosophical, called something. Right, it's page 81. Lycan elaborates this concept. Apropos of Paul Claudel's play The Hostage in order to save the Pope hiding in her house. Sagning, I don't know how to pronounce this word. It's Sygne. The heroine agrees to marry Toussaint Turleur, I don't know, a person she despised utterly, the son of her servant, a wet nurse who has used the revolution to promote his career as a Jacobin Locan Pontinate. He ordered the execution of the S word again. Sygne. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sygne apostrophe F, as in assigning some preposition of ownership or property. I don't know. Parents in the presence of their children. She does sacrifice everything that matters to her: her love, her family name, and estate. Her second act is her final no. To Turleur, standing by the bed of the fatally wounded Sygne, desperately asks her to give a sign which would confer some meaning on her unexpected suicidal gesture of saving the life of her loaded husband. Anything. Even if she didn't do it for the love of him, but merely to save the family name from disgrace. The dying Sygne, whatever, as an utter sound, she merely indicates her rejection of a final reconciliation with her husband by a compulsive tick, a kind of convulsed twitching which repeatedly distorts her gentle face. The same goes for the great act of renunciation at the end of Henry James, The Portrait of a Lady. Isabel Archer decides to stay with her repulsive husband, although she's free to leave him. The ultimate proof of Jane's materialism. I'm running on this sentence, sorry. There's certain words are throwing me off, and I'm unfamiliar with them. Where is it? Ultimate proof of Jane's materialism. It has nothing whatsoever to do with any kind of religious transcendence. What makes this renunciation so enigmatic is that it is, on the contrary, conditioned by the very lack of any transcendence. It can occur as a kind of empty gesture in a godless universe. This detours through James enables us to discern the hidden materialist content of Kierkegaard, guards. I think that's like a Scandinavian or northern name. I don't know how to pronounce stuff from Central Northern Europe as well. Religious sacrifice in which we give up everything, all that really matters, for nothing. This is to say how we should interpret the great feminine No of Isabel Archer at the end of the portrait of a lady. That's a question. Anyway. This is to say, how should we interpret the great feminine No of Isabel Archer at the end of the portrait of a lady? Why doesn't Isabel leave Osmond, although she definitely doesn't love him, sorry, and is fully aware of his manipulations? Question. The reason is not the moral pressure exerted on her by the notion of what is expected of a woman in her position. Isabel has sufficiently proven that, if she wants to, she is quite willing to override conventions. Isabel stays because of her commitment to the bond of her word, and she stays because she's unwilling to abandon what she still sees as a decision made out of her sense of independence. In short, as Lycan put it in the propos of Cindy de Confontaine, I knew that was French, Confontaine, in the hostage, Isabel is also the hostage of the word. I think that means she's like a hostage of her commitment, or to like some bond, or you know, she's like enslaved by her own materialism. I don't know. It reminds me of that one guy who written Fight Club. Sort of like the philosophy of that movie. It's like something I was like it was like my philosophical mind state of like 2008, like how people are enslaved by their own desires and or materialism. There's like a song called Mirror from like the Supreme Beings of Leisure. You know, like the people make themselves slaves of their own selves by being enchained to their own desires and own materialistic addictions or whatnot, you know? I don't know. The brain is fucking up right now. Isabel stays because of her commitment to the bond of her word, and she stays because she's unwilling to abandon what she still sees as a decision made out of her sense of independence. In short, as Lycan would put it, as apropos of Cindy Confontaine, whatever, in the hostage, I suppose also the hostage of the word, of her word. So it is wrong to interpret this act as a sacrifice bearing witness to the proverbial feminine masochism. I heard the word before. I forgot what it means. I'll look it up later. Although Isabel was obviously manipulated into marrying Osmond, her act was her own, and to leave Osmond would simply equal depriving herself of autonomy. While men sacrifice themselves for a thing, country, freedom, honor, only women are able to sacrifice themselves for nothing. Or men are moral, while only women are properly ethnical or something. Ethical. Recently, Dominic Hoynes and Ag Plut have proposed a perspective reading of Lacan's interpretation of the hostage. In the play's climactic finale, Signe de Confontaine, its heroine, interposes herself between Turlure and her repugnant and corrupt husband, and Georges, I think that's French, Georges, her true love, intercepting the bullet from the pistol that Georges aims at Turlure afterwards when Turlure asks the dying Signe why did she did it. Alright. Signe makes no answer, or rather, it is her body that performs an answer in the form of a tick, a sign of no, quote unquote. Signe, who sacrificed everything in order to preserve her past of things, who broke off her engagement with her cousin in order to save the Pope, cannot and will not tolerate this last and ultimate sacrifice to Tellur. Signe gives up everything in order to bind herself to an enemy, Tellur, and ultimately saves his life from her cousin's gunshot. But when asked to confess that she did this out of the marital love, only answered with a negating trait. The place where Signe gives up everything in order to enter a symbolic universe that is not hers appears later as a negation of disorder. Is this not the endpoint of a symbolic order, where an ugly, obscene feature puts the whole order into question, and is thus a pure negation of what the order stands for? Signe herself ultimately becomes a sign of incarnate, saying no to the very point where the subject's introduction to or assumption of the symbolic order begins with a primordial sacrifice. It's like one fucking paragraph, and I fucked up. It's an excerpt. Spent 11 minutes reading it. It's for shame. This is likely part 4 of the whole thing here, this excerpt. It's more, but I don't know. The verge of Signe's Vexillon thus permits the subject to refuse the symbolic order within the symbolic order. Here Holmes and Plout suggest a reading of Signe's no as prefiguring what Lacan later called synthome. However, the dimension of the inherent refusal that pertains to Vexillon, it's negating equality, although Afterbung thus I'd enter only with the Sinkong of Signe's no. It is already clearly discernible in the situation after Signe's marriage as the final outcome of her sacrificing everything, which sacrificed everything for X. Her cause, the old order embodied in the Pope, the thing that really matters, and as a result, she finally loses this X itself. Thus, we should complicate Holmes and Plout analysis. Signe performs 4 acts and the hostage. Signe's enjoyed sympathetic betrothal. I forgot that. I think that means marriage. Promise of eternal love and fidelity to preserve the traditional order. The elementary, zero-level act of assuring one's fidelity to one's ethnical substance. A decision to marry Tellur, sacrificing everything for the Pope, symbol of the old order. It's 1. 2. A decision to marry Tellur, sacrificing everything for the Pope, symbol of the old order. 3. Her suicidal act of intercepting the bullet George's aimed at Tellur, thus saving Tellur's life. 4. Her final no, the refusal to inscribe the sacrificial gesture into the existing ideological symbolic order